It feels like every week the gaming world drops another gut punch. Thousands more jobs lost, physical media is getting phased out, the prices are skyrocketing, and for every bright spot there's 3 more disasters. The industry is broken, bloated, mismanaged, and out of touch. But don't give up yet, fellow gamers. The future looks bleak, but we can still fight our way to the other side. Look, I know I'm certified unk status to the younger crowd, but am I really that old? See, back in my day, you bought the game on a disc or a cartridge because that was literally the only option. The Xbox 360 launched with 20 gigabytes of storage, and you actually only got about 13 that was usable. Today, that wouldn't even fit a single big title's day one patch. Physical copies were all we had. It's all we knew. Now, I can't even remember the last time that I bought a physical game. The industry has been marching towards the all digital for a decade. Remember the Xbox's disastrous 2013 always online reveal with the Kinect? They got roasted. PlayStation at the time held the high ground, but then only to pull a hold my beer moment last week. Sony announced that they were going to end the physical disc production for all new PlayStation games starting in January of 2028. They say that 85% of all full game sales are already digital, so it no longer makes business sense. And from a pure profit standpoint, they're right. The problem? It's not just the collectors who lose. This kills the third-party retailers, GameStop, local stores, the midnight release culture that brought all kinds of people together around a shared love. It guts the used game market as well. Take Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Full price on the PlayStation 5 is still $70 even though the game is pushing 3 years old. At GameStop, you can grab a used copy for around $30. That $40 difference disappears when there's no physical supply. And don't expect lower prices. Publishers want full control and 100% of the cut. You own nothing. Licensings can vanish. Remember, they're shutting down the PS3 and Vita stores. The digital movies and games get pulled because of licensings expiring, and this is the future that they're building. I don't expect Sony to reverse course completely, but we don't have to stay silent. Movements like Stop Killing Games shows what's possible. We need offline play, backwards compatibility, and guarantees that our purchases stay playable. Xbox will almost certainly follow Sony's lead soon. I'll drop the link to the Don't Kill Disc petition in the description. It already at the time of recording has over 180,000 signatures. Let's make some noise. First thing I see in the morning, another massive Xbox restructuring, studios spun out and thousands of jobs cut. It's literally deja vu at this point. Microsoft went on a decade-long shopping spree. They bought ZeniMax for $7.5 billion. That includes studios like Bethesda, id Software, and Arcane. Then Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. Then the questionable decisions started piling up. Now they're letting go of studios like Ninja Theory, Undead Labs, Compulsion Games, and Double Fine Studios, while also laying off up to 3,200 people across Xbox. Credits where it's due though, they're not burning everything down. Some studios are going independent with their IPs, so key games like State of Decay 3 and Hellblade are still getting funded. That's better than the usual close the studio, cancel the project playbook. But let's not pretend Xbox is off the hook. A story that is becoming all too common with Xbox. A company that has overspent as a way to try and be competitive, only for it to backfire. And now, instead of the higher ups losing their jobs or taking pay cuts, the little guys are out of the job. Sure, the CEO and the president get to be the scapegoats, but that is just so typical. Asha wrote in her tweet that sometimes things had to go through 14 levels of management. 14. Are you kidding me? Like, just imagine trying to get something approved and it has to go through 14 people. This is a clear example of overmanagement. They don't know what they're doing over at Xbox, and it's the devs that have to pay the price for their mistakes. This is just a byproduct of a larger problem. Studios are getting too large for the amount that they are putting out. While not Xbox, Ubisoft had 2,000 people working on Assassin's Creed. Just think of the overhead cost of an operation like that. The game is going to have to sell GTA numbers just to recoup the cost. That's not realistic on the 20th entry in a franchise. This is an issue that stems from both sides of the coin. We just dragged Xbox through the mud, but the problem is industry-wide. Development times are just insane. State of Decay 2 came out in 2018. State of Decay 3 is targeting 2027. That's 9 years. Even with 120 people at Undead Labs making an average of around $50K salary, you're already looking at $54 million in wages alone. And that's before marketing, actors, mocap, or anything else. Not every game needs Rockstar level fidelity. Expedition 33 was made by around 30 to 40 people. Stardew Valley by just 1. Passion and clear vision beat bloat every time. Studios have lost the plot, the chasing graphics arms race, and Hollywood talent instead of focused, fun experiences. You can't live off Microsoft money forever. One mediocre game every decade isn't sustainable. Let's take a step back for a second. We've talked about physical media and studios and layoffs, common things that affect the industry. One that I see that never gets mentioned though is esports. How has esports been about the downfall of video games, you ask? Multiple reasons. One, it is a project that has failed and resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars lost for many games. The few that do succeed are now tethered to the expensive cost of running said operation, especially if you're Riot, who never allows for outside control of events. All of that burden is now put on the studio and publisher to make it work, which leads to the main issue. Developing games based around being an esport. Inherently, it's not a bad proposal depending on the game. It is a calculated risk that they are free to make. The real burden is when it is tacked on to an established IP that was never intended to be an esport. Now, the whole game is being changed to accommodate for this. In this video, we will not be digging too deep into this. We have videos going in depth on these issues. You can check out our video on the failure of the Overwatch League and franchising. The link will be down in the description below. And maybe I'm in the minority, but Call of Duty became a lot worse when it became focused on the competitiveness more than just being a fun game. The games used to have so many options, from the weapons to the perks, and yes, some was completely broken, but it had flavor. That's not me saying the game needs to be unbalanced, more so the game needs to be created with a vision in mind and what they want. If that includes laser weapons, then hell yeah, let's do it. When you turn around and take an existing IP and try to turn it into something it's not, well, the flair and joy are gone. You are left with a hollow shell of what once was as the player base dwindles. I don't want to leave you on pure doom and gloom. Gaming has grown enormously. The visuals that we take for granted today would have blown our childhood minds. There are still incredible games being made. But why does a new Assassin's Creed have fewer meaningful features than one from a decade ago? Why does Call of Duty feel so similar 15 years later? And why is everything a giant, empty, open world? It's the perfect storm. Bloated teams, profit-first leadership, and a control-everything mindset that prioritizes recurring revenue over consumer-friendly experiences. The good news? We have the power. Stop pre-ordering mediocrity. Vote with your wallet. Have real conversations instead of rage tweets. Support indie devs and smaller teams. Demand better. Offline modes, fair pricing, ownership that actually means something. Together, we can push the industry back towards making games that are actually fun. Well, that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun making this one. Video games they've been a part of my life for decades at this point. I love this hobby, and to be able to make content for YouTube about my passion is something my younger self could have never predicted. But be sure to subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next one.